Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through all the noise, the new research, the vendor hype, all the threat intel, and just try to build a clear roadmap for you. It's 2026, and things are definitely shifting under our feet in cybersecurity.
That's a good way to put it. Our mission today is really focused. We're trying to move past the usual, the sky is falling predictions.
Right.
We want to look at the operational realities. What are serious companies actually resolving to do this year? How are things like AI red teams really evolving?
And crucially, how is the cybercriminal world essentially commercializing psychological attacks?
Exactly. You need to know the why and the how behind these headlines.
Okay, so let's get right into it. We've structured this around a few key shifts. First, we'll look at 4 major resolutions for the industry.
Yep.
Second, a really fascinating, almost revolutionary change in how Microsoft is handling bug bounties.
That was a big deal.
Then, the sort of sobering long-tail lessons from the LastPass breach. And finally, this unsettling rise of commercial social engineering, specifically a threat called ClickFix. So let's start with those industry resolutions. Every year there are these lists, but this time, I don't know, it feels different. It feels like it's about survival, not just compliance.
It is. The whole foundational idea is shifting from just, prevention to what we call operational resilience.
What's the key difference there?
Well, security used to be measured by how many attacks you stopped, but that's a fool's errand. You can't stop everything.
Right.
Resilience is about assuming you will get hit by ransomware, 0-day, whatever, and making sure the business just keeps running.
So survival becomes the main success metric.
Exactly. And what's kind of remarkable is that the first resolution is still about the basics. It's the boring but absolutely critical need for better patching.
And finally, getting rid of that ancient legacy equipment that's still sitting on the network. Exposed.
You just can't build a modern defense on a foundation that's crumbling. But then you have the more forward-looking stuff like Resolution 2, quantum readiness.
This one feels like it's been on the horizon forever.
It has, but the timeline keeps shrinking. People talk about the 2030s, but it's probably going to be earlier. Prudence just dictates you have to start your assessments and evaluations now.
We've all heard the phrase, harvest now, decrypt later.
Right.
Steal the encrypted data today and just wait for a quantum computer to crack it open in 5 or 10 years.
And that's the thing. While the decryption part is in the future, the harvesting part is happening right now. You need to be looking at your cryptographic inventory, seeing what's vulnerable, and mapping it to the new post-quantum standards from NIST.
Okay, so from a future threat to an immediate one. Resolution 3, passkeys.
Yes.
Why is this still, after all this time, maybe the single most urgent fix?
Because the #1 driver for the cost of a data breach is still phishing.
And phishing goes after credentials.
It always goes after credentials. And passkeys, built on the FIDO standards, they solve that problem. They are, by their very nature, phishing resistant.
How so?
A user literally cannot be tricked into sending their secret to a fake website because there is no secret to send. The credential is tied to the device. It's a fundamental fix.
So you want to slash breach costs. That's the fastest way to do it.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the last one, Resolution 4, which is all about securing AI.
Right.
AI is here. It's not going anywhere. The key is to treat it as an augmentation for your existing security team, not a replacement.
That feels like a really important distinction. People see AI and immediately think headcount reduction.
And that is the biggest mistake you can make. It's
Yeah.
cutting your way to the bottom. Your attackers are already using AI to scale their operations. You need your best people using AI just to keep up.
And we're not flying blind here. I mean,
Yeah.
OWASP updated its top 10 for large language models way back in 2025.
Exactly. We know the immediate risks: prompt injection, data poisoning. AI can help automate responses and spot patterns, but you still need human expertise to direct it.
That idea of human expertise leads us really nicely into the next topic: collaboration. And nothing shows that shift better than Microsoft's new bug bounty rules.
Yeah, this was announced at Black Hat Europe. They call it in scope by default.
What does that mean in practice?
It just means they're tearing down the walls. It used to be this long, confusing process for a researcher to figure out if some new service was even eligible for a bounty. Now, every Microsoft online service is in scope from the moment it launches. They're making it as easy as possible for the good guys.
Okay, that's a big change. But this is the part that really stood out to me.
The supply chain part.
Yeah. Bounties are now eligible for bugs found in third-party or open-source components. as long as it has a direct and demonstrable impact on their services.
That is a radical but totally necessary acknowledgement of modern reality.
Which is
That the most dangerous exploits aren't in the proprietary code anymore. They're at the bridge points, the interfaces between different pieces of software.
like Log4j.
Log4j is the perfect example. One tiny open source library crippled half the internet. Microsoft is essentially saying, our resilience depends on the entire ecosystem, even the parts we didn't write ourselves.
That has to be incredibly expensive for them.
It is, but it's a customer-first move. And it also serves another purpose. It keeps the elite talent on the right side of the law.
How so?
By providing a huge economic incentive, you can find these complex systemic flaws and get paid well for them, or you can go to the dark side, make millions illegally, and risk jail time. This helps to keep that talent in the defensive camp.
It's just wild to think that 30 years ago, finding a bug could get you sued or arrested.
The mindset has completely flipped. It's a rising tide lifts all boats approach. They're taking financial ownership of their entire footprint, and that benefits everyone.
So while some big companies are getting better collaboration, things are still pretty tough for the individual user. Which brings us to the long, haunting fallout from that 2022 LastPass breach.
This is such a textbook case of a data theft that just keeps on giving for the attackers.
Remind us what happened.
So back in 2022, about 30 million encrypted vault backups were stolen. And now, years later, researchers are finding that hackers are still slowly decrypting these vaults one by one.
And they're going after crypto wallets.
Specifically going after cryptocurrency credentials. It's a perfect example of harvest now, decrypt later, but without even needing a quantum computer.
Just patience and brute force.
Exactly. And we have to get into the technical failure here, because it wasn't just that the data was stolen.
Okay.
It's that the original protection was too weak. LastPass used a key derivation function, a KDF, with too few iterations.
So the password stretching wasn't stretchy enough.
Precisely. If your master password was even moderately weak, they could eventually brute force it, even years later. It gave people a false sense of security.
But there's also the human element here. The depressing part is that this still works, which suggests many people never change their passwords.
Right, despite years of very loud warnings.
Does that mean we should just give up on password managers?
No, absolutely not. The concept is still critical. I mean, how else are you going to manage hundreds of unique, strong passwords? I think I have something like 700.
Right. It's impossible for a human.
It is. The lesson isn't to abandon the tool. It's that you have to place your trust in the right vendor, one with really solid security hygiene and strong crypto.
So for the individual, it comes back to defense in depth.
Continuous monitoring is key. Services like Have I Been Pwned? And for high-value accounts, you need credit monitoring, even credit freezes.
And the industry still has a job to do. I mean, the core problem is friction. Until setting up passkeys or MFA is easier than using an Excel spreadsheet, people will take the path of least resistance. The secure option has to be the frictionless option.
Oh, well.
Okay, moving from human friction to machine vulnerabilities.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about how we're defending against this new waves of AI threats. It's basically AI versus AI.
Yeah, and the big one right now is prompt injection. It's probably the most insidious vulnerability in large language models today.
Explain what that is.
It's where a malicious hidden instruction gets smuggled into a prompt and it overrides what the user actually wanted.
So you tell your shopping AI to find the cheapest flight.
And a hidden prompt forces it to find the most expensive one and book it.
So how are we defending against that? I know OpenAI has this automated red team.
They do. They've essentially trained an adversarial model, a second AI, on nothing but injection techniques. This defensive AI is constantly looking for new ways to trick the main system.
And when it finds one,
The main agent models get trained on that specific discovery. It's like giving them an inoculation. It's a constant self-improving loop.
that sounds logical, using AI to secure AI. But you've warned about being cautious here.
Absolutely, because AI isn't perfect. It's not a security oracle. It still hallucinates.
Meaning it makes stuff up.
Right, which in security means false positives or false negatives. It might block a legitimate command or worse, let a malicious one slip through because it was overconfident.
So that core security principle we've talked about for years still applies.
You must keep a human in the loop.
Always.
The AI is there to augment, not replace. And you have to remember why AI is so vulnerable. It's incredibly intelligent, it can process insane amounts of data, but it has no experience.
It's all intelligence and no wisdom.
That's the perfect way to put it. It has no street smarts. It's only been around in this generative form for a few years. It lacks the context to understand psychological manipulation or subtle behavioral cues that a human analyst would spot instantly.
Speaking of psychological manipulation, let's talk about our last topic, where cybercrime is going commercial with this ClickFix scourge.
ClickFix is a really clever social engineering attack. The attacker convinces the victim to copy and paste what looks like a legitimate command, maybe a troubleshooting fix, into their command prompt.
And that command, of course, is a malicious payload.
Of course, but what's really alarming is how fast it's being commercialized. There's this new malware suite called air traffic.
Right. I saw it described as a simple, clean, professional SaaS toolkit for criminals.
That's what it is. It's crime as a service. It has a dashboard, instructions, even customer support for other criminals. They've lowered the barrier to entry to almost zero. It's click here to hack.
And the numbers are what's truly terrifying.
They're insane. They're selling these projects for around $800.
$800. For what kind of success rate?
A 60% success rate.
60%. That's unbelievable.
It's a guaranteed return on investment.
Yeah.
And they do it by leveraging emotion. The toolkit is designed to create panic. It throws up fake system glitches, visual errors, scrambled text on the screen.
So the user freaks out.
The user freaks out, sees a big button that says fix, and desperately clicks it or follows whatever instructions pop up just to make the chaos stop. They're exploiting that desperation.
So for defenders, this means the attacker pool just exploded. It's not some elite hacker anymore. It's anyone with $800.
And there's another vector experts are worried about.
Yeah.
We thought drive-by downloads against humans were mostly dead because of browser security.
Right.
But the naivete of these new AI agents, they might be vulnerable to the same kind of trick, a sort of AI version of ClickFix. It just underscores that these cybercriminals are running sophisticated businesses. This is their B2B revenue stream.
Wow. We have covered a ton of ground today. From that big industry push toward resilience and passkeys to the new defensive tech from Microsoft and OpenAI.
The central tension for 2026 is really clear. On one side, you have technology and collaboration getting much more mature. But on the other side, the fundamental defense still comes down to reducing human friction, making security so easy there's no excuse not to use it.
And maintaining human judgment.
And maintaining human judgment, especially when facing these cheap, effective psychological attacks.
So we'll leave you with a final thought to chew on. Given how easy this is, the low-cost $800 and that incredible 60% success rate for attacks like air traffic is the greatest security threat in 2026, no longer some complex, invisible zero-day. Is it just the simple failure of basic, non-frictionless security hygiene and our own human psychology? Think about that tension as you look at your own strategy this week.